Hey everybody! Today I'm going to be talking about Death Note. Now I know that Death Note is a classic anime, so obviously it was going to be on my list. I've been hearing about it since it came out in 2006. Like, I knew what it was way before I was interested in anime, and it's always been, since I started watching anime, been on my list. And honestly, like, I was a little hesitant because for some reason I got this impression that it was going to be kind of like slow and boring, but boy was I wrong. It was so good. Like, every episode was such a thrill, such a ride. And I love Breaking Bad, so obviously I love the whole like villain as the main character kind of thing, the anti-hero, if you will. And so I really enjoyed it. It's interesting enjoying a show where you want the main character to get caught. You want the main character to lose. If you don't know what Death Note is, basically this 17-year-old boy named Light Yagami is in class one day, and then this notebook called a Death Note falls from the sky outside. He sees it, he picks it up, he's heard about it in legends, and he's curious about it. And basically what a Death Note is these gods of death called Shinigami have these things called Death Notes, and if you write a person's name with their face in mind, they will die of a heart attack. And then if you don't want them to die of a heart attack and something else, you can write their specific way that they die, and even eventually learn that you can write what time that they die. And so Light becomes intrigued by this, and he tries it out, and he sees that it works. And then this god of death, Shinigami named Ryuk, kind of accompanies him throughout the journey because it's his Death Note that he dropped because, as he said, he was bored. And then there's this guy named L, who is this mysterious, famous detective who is determined to catch Kira, which is the killer that is killing all of these criminals. Oh, I forgot to mention, he's only killing bad guys, killing criminals. So in his head, he's justifying it. It's kind of like the show Dexter, where he was a serial killer, but he only killed bad guys. So in his head, he's making the world better, and he'll be the god of the new world and make the world better because he'll get rid of criminals. But what he doesn't realize is that's kind of a not a good way of thinking, because criminals are also people, and a random person doesn't just get to decide who deserves to die and who doesn't. And it just basically spirals out of control. There's 37 episodes, that's it. It's one of those one-off animes where they tell a story and they're done. And I've watched several of those, like Erased and Real Life, things like that, and it is really, really, really good. Even though it's from 2006, the animation is surprisingly really good. It's not as good as animation is now, but it was 13 years ago, so obviously things change. But it was still really, really well done. The music was really good, all of the symbolism and metaphors, and it was really good, and I really enjoyed it, and it kept me on the edge of my seat. I fell in love with L, and if you watch the show, probably everyone will fall in love with him, because he's just so endearing. And honestly, you really are rooting for Light to get caught. Even though, sure, he's handsome, he's interesting, but you want him to get caught because he's literally deciding who gets to die and who doesn't. And it's a really intriguing show, and I really, really enjoyed it. And honestly, like, I'm in love with it, and I still think about it. Like, I finished it, I think, a couple weeks ago already, and I still think about the ending and how brilliant it was. I still think about how well done it was and how well they spread that storyline throughout 37 episodes and always had twists and turns and things like that. And the voice acting is really, really good. I don't know what the English dub sounds like because I watched it in Japanese because that's what I prefer to do, but I think that Rick watched it in English, and he said that the English dub was pretty good, so that's cool. I tried to watch the Netflix live action Death Note movie, and I literally got 7 minutes in before I screamed at the screen and turned it off because it is so inaccurate to the anime, and it's whitewashed and all these different horrible things, but I gave it a shot. But really though, like, you don't even have to like anime to like this, because it's very like reminiscent of a like noir detective show or movie. It definitely takes themes from that, and it's so good. If you like mystery, true crime, any of those kinds of things, then I think you will really, 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 really like it. I love it. it was just so good. I can't even explain how good it is. It's definitely a classic for a reason. And I'm going to start reading the manga too, because I think the manga goes into even more detail, which I'm intrigued to see because it literally kept me on the edge of my seat. But anyways, that's all I'm going to say for today. Next week, I'll be reviewing the anime ReZero, which was amazing, and hopefully we'll be getting a second season of that soon. But until then, I will see you next weekend.